we're going to have to go by the restream for the sync up. And it looks like they are underway.
Alright. So good luck to the runners. Coming up, the intro, a cutscene of 35 seconds that you have to go through. Give you a good time to just chill out, relax a bit before starting the game. So the intro stage, pretty much execution only, not much RNG coming up, except maybe the last boss that may give some runners trouble because of RNG basically. So they are gonna try to avoid using the full charge in some section of the game to reduce the lag.
And it looks like Struthers took a small lead here at the first intermission of the intro.
Yeah, even though he took some damage on the first purple guy by not killing it, because if you don't kill that guy, you cannot get your way around it. You have to kill it. Also playing Zero for the first time in the game. We're gonna see him later on, but for now, having to deal with the way bigger sprites can give you some weird. It's kind of weird to deal with that.
Starvin actually got the saber jump there with Zero, and then he was able to take damage off of the mace ball so that he doesn't. He gets control when he gets hit. So he's able to save a few frames doing that, and both players actually get the mat kill pretty easily. And Starvin still has his, I think, 1 to 2 second lead. Had a little trouble on the climb. Cassio was able to make up just a small fraction of time. So our racers here, we're going to be shooting their charge shot at Mo's head, and then they're going to shoot some green charge shots until they get to the very end of the fight. And then they'll unleash one more full charge shot. Ooh, Cassio, I think, shot a little early, so he lost a second there. Looks like he may have missed another shot, but he's okay, I think.
Seems like the RNG was not that bad for either of them. You can see how the fight was by how many hole there's in the ground. Seems like Cassio had more trouble though.
So it looks like Starvin's got a 3-second lead going into Buffalo.
Buffalo, where we see for the first time and the last time the ice physics in X3. Pretty tricky to deal with. You get extremely high speed by going down the slope and doing a dash jump, but it can be hard to deal with. Also, if you just do a movement one side and try to back up, you're gonna keep moving the wrong direction. It's kind of hard to deal with.
Oh dear.
Hey, there's a key. Welcome aboard.
I did not see the messages that this was starting a little early.
It's alright.
Struthers missing the wall climb there. Cassio able to make up a little bit of time. Okay, Starvin gets the jump to the ledge to the capsule. So does Cassio.
Pretty basic jump, but it can be scary sometimes. You just think about it too much and you miss the jump. You have a few ways to back it up, but it can be tricky, really.
Ooh, Starvin missed the ice jump there. So I'm not sure if both our racers do the same strat. We're going to see here in just a second. Starvin does the simple fight. Looks like they both are doing just the very simplistic jump and unload and unleash the charge shot. So we won't see a CFO strat here.
Is there some way to optimize this way to fight him by making sure that you release your yellow charge as soon as it's done, but you want to avoid receive too soon?
It looks like Starvin missed a full charge shot and had to hit him one extra time. That allowed Cassio to make up a second. So just like that, we're right close again, and we're just starting the race.
So coming up, Seahorse, pretty good execution coming up in that stage. A lot of climbing. Also, that water that you're seeing in that climb will slow you down. Not that much, but enough to get annoying at some point.
Yeah, Seahorse is one of the first of many stages in this game where you're going to have to really optimize your wall climbing. And not only that, but also make sure that you don't drop any jumps. Wow. Okay, Starvin went out of his way to pick up a heart tank, while Cassio did not, and we're instantly tied frame for frame. So we're gonna see if that heart tank that Starvin picked up comes into play at some point in this race, because having that extra heart tank does allow him to take one extra hit from some of the bosses later in the end game, and that in the end may be the difference if Cassio gets into trouble.
Also seeing two different fight for this mini boss. One using the Buster, one using the Ice. Ice is definitely faster, but maybe it may get scary when you fight Seahorse.
I think Starvin uses a lot more ice when he does the Seahorse quick kill than Cassio does. So I think he's opting with the Buster for the mini boss, and then he's gonna unload the ice when he gets to Seahorse. Ooh, Starvin gets that really tricky gap jump at the top of that Seahorse climb.
Having some trouble through that section. A lot of guys that can actually do 8 damage to you are 6 on body bunk.
Yeah, and Cassio has really good mashing capability. He is a Mega Man 3 runner, so his experience playing that game will come into play here in a few spots.
He actually messed up that quick kill a little bit at the beginning, but...
Why is Starvin getting a really clean fight? Not even using barely more than half.
Yeah, Starvin could have used ice on the mini boss, but I guess he's just comfortable mashing, so who can blame him?
I'd do the same thing.
They are pretty still neck and neck.
So while we have an intermission here, Bit will show up randomly in one of the next 3 stages that our racers are going to complete. If Bit does not show up in the 3rd or 4th stage, he will show up in Catfish, which is the 5th Maverick that they will face. Bite will then appear randomly in one of the remaining 3 Maverick stages. So if Bit or Bite shows up in different stages for both our players, we won't know for sure who has the lead until we get to the benchmark 5th and 8th Mavericks.
Which is why the runners on their split usually have a 3-stage by split from that part, because if you get Bit on one stage and you don't on another one that you had before, your split is gonna get messed pretty up. Pretty bad, sorry.
Ooh, okay, Cassio gets hit, but he doesn't take 6 damage. I think he got hit with a projectile or something. And Cassio picks up a sub-tank, so both players now have a safety item, and it's very different. Cassio has a sub-tank, while Struthers has an extra heart tank. So there's a couple of benefits. Oh, and they both get bit in the same exact time. So we're going to have, I think, some synchronization here. But for the bit fight, they're just going to hit him with a 1 lemon first, and then hit him with 10 ice shots, and then finish him off with a lemon. And Struthers got a really good fight there. Unfortunately, Cassio has to pause to despawn the ice, because if you kill Bit with the ice, you trigger the 13-second explosion, which you don't want.
Struthers pretty much had the best pattern you could get on him, I think. He didn't sit on the ground and fire orbs or do anything. Yeah,
Bit just going back and forth across the room is the optimal RNG. Ooh, Struthers gets hit. That may cause a problem, but Cassio also has took a damage, so they're both got the same HP levels, just about. Struthers might have a little bit more.
I also need to mention Starvin going for the quick skip on the boulder falling down for that section. Pretty ballsy.
That little boulder section where Struthers actually had a little bit of a hiccup. I swear there's something strange about that area where it'll just like randomly drop a jump input or a dash input and it'll just give you a heart attack. He's always right next to the spike pit.
Okay. Struthers has got to be careful. He can die to, oh boy, this is bad.
Oh dear. Yeah,
get out of there.
Okay.
No, she'll be fine.
Oh boy, wow.
I believe those fully charged orbs.
They are synced. They each have 4 HP. They each are touching the door at the same time.
Wow.
That was planned.
Holy moly.
Collusion.
So the Rhino fight, very basic. Hit him with the charge shot you start the fight with, and then hit him with 10 acid shots. But as you see, Rhino is starting to fake out Cassio and Struthers a little bit here, so they have to be very wary of that. Ooh. Oh.
That was
Cassio
so
better
lucky.
Watch it. Holy moly. You stay away from him? Oh, wow.
Oh, my, that's not.
Gee.
He's putting on a show.
I need to turn the AC on and my fan on because this is hot.
He's so amazingly lucky that he juked when he did.
Yeah, he was dead if Rhino did not stop in his tracks.
Yeah, so the fake actually paying off Cassio on this, taking a small lead, but avoiding that.
They've been trading small lead pretty much, it seems like, the entire race. Just back and forth over and over again, every little thing.
And we thought it couldn't get any worse. Now we're in Tiger, where it could all happen again.
This could make or break a run, especially any percent.
Both players get the squeeze through the Dragonfly. That's nice. And once again, Cassio takes damage and allows Struthers to come back a little bit here.
And Struthers takes back the lead. Now
let's see if they get the 1 cycle Worm Seeker. Struthers looks like he may have it. Oh no, he doesn't. But Cassio gets it. Cassio is back in the lead.
The easiest quick kill yet can be the most impossible one. It's just
Struthers was a little bit too low when he tried to do the air dash off the wall. So his initial shots actually were not able to hit.
So yeah, missing the 1 cycle Worm Seeker costs you about 4 seconds. So Struthers is just a little bit behind, but hey, anything can happen.
Also getting a gap jump on that later, which Cassio didn't get, so getting a little bit of time there.
I'm wondering if either player is going to get this heart tank from Tiger, or before we fight Tiger. It is a possibility.
I would guess that both will get it. At least Starving for sure. It's a nice extra heart to have.
I'm not sure. Starvin.
Neither player gets it.
Okay.
So just to recap so far, both players had picked up a safety item. Struthers had an extra heart, or he picked up a heart tank, so he's got 2 extra HP. But Cassio has a sub tank, and he can use the ice to force health drops to fill up that sub tank, and he can use it whenever he needs to.
Yeah, two
Cassio
different.
not getting quite as good of a pattern on Tiger, it looks like, at least for the beginning.
Yeah,
Now
when
it's-
Tiger does his attack on the ground, he has an iframe reset. So you want him to stay on the ground and fire the Ray Splasher, just as is what's happening on Cassio's side right now.
And thus it begins.
And now,
Pretty
once
much
he's
at that
below...
time, actually.
Oh, wow. Cassio's standing in the magic spot, and he gets a quick kill with that. Oh,
Much better
my
RNG
goodness.
for Cassio on Tiger.
And now Struthers... Okay, he gets an extra charge or two, but not that bad.
I also need to mention one pick an extra heart and the other pick the sub tank. Is that right?
Yeah.
So it's two different save strategy for later on. The extra heart give you an extra hit, yet the sub tank give you more than that, but you have to pose it to use it. So it's really runner based at that point. Whether they want to use.
The place you would get the sub tank for is the Sigma fight, and you could only take 2 hits there anyway, and you would sub tank after taking 1. So both items are a guarantee of only 1 extra hit at most, unless you get a heart tank with a sub.
Okay, Cassio had to use the Frost Shield there to force a health drop from that Crab Blaster. He already took 2 hits, and you don't want to be low on health in this stage. So, coming up is the Catfish fight. What our players are going to do is they're going to hit Catfish with the Buster as much as they can. Once Catfish passes 16 health, once he goes below that, the next time his jump cycle or his attack cycle ends, he's going to go straight to the middle of the screen and get his jolt from the middle, and then he'll start his desperation attack. And at that point, our players will be forced to use drills to knock him out of not only his desperation phase, but it's the only way that they can deal damage without having to wait for his attack to end.
The average amount of drills you'll usually see is around 5.
Yeah,
But
5 is usually the average.
It is actually possible to kill Catfish if you get a good pattern and you manipulate him well. You can kill him without firing any drills at him, although a 1 drill fight is faster than that, technically.
So
the
basically,
optimal fight is 1 drill.
the attack cycles that Catfish does, like if he does Triad Thunder or the Ground Spark, like I say right here, like when Cassio got the Triad Thunder right there after passing half, that was actually pretty good. But sadly, Catfish had already jumped over him at that point, so Catfish is forced to turn around and fire an attack, which will automatically, on the next cycle, will be the desperation phase, because Cassio had already hit him at that point.
Fortunately,
So-
I think Struthers might have missed a shot, so I believe this is a 7 drill on him.
Ooh.
Yeah, he missed 1 for charge. He released too early, sadly.
Yeah, so every drill...
No. That
Go ahead,
every
Lisa.
drill you have to do wastes 3 additional
Yep.
seconds.
Exactly.
So, a 7 drill fight, as opposed to, say, a 1 drill fight, that would be, what, 18 seconds?
18
18 seconds.
Actually, it would be more than that, 20, I would say, because the Wonder Strat, you have an iframe reset, which make you able to release it right away.
But so is the first drill when you do it in a 7 drill.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, every drill beyond the first is 3 seconds. So, Bite shows up in Crawfish for Cassio. Now, will Struthers get the same RNG?
I think Cassio is actually going to go for the pauseless strat here.
Ooh. Starvin does not get Bite in Crawfish.
So now it's going to become a little confusing as to who's actually ahead until we get the Hornet.
Or until Struthers gets Bite, maybe in Beetle.
Yeah, that actually is true.
But
So-
getting Bite, except for making it harder for us to keep up with the runner, for a bit, if you get it in Rhino, especially for a new runner, you really want to try to avoid taking any damage. But
Yeah.
for Bite, the fight is a lot more straightforward.
Man, both our players are getting hit.
Rhino is probably the worst thing. Oh boy, Cassio. Oh, Cassio.
Both players. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Just to mention, it's our RNG base where these are coming up. It's why we're using the Drought Hunter.
That's why you could fight Vile and Catfish, but you don't, solely because you would like to have the Tri-Thunder to protect you from that debris. But as you see, Cassio got hit like 1,000 times trying to climb up the first climbing section.
Thankfully, there's 50 million health pickups along the way, so it didn't really hurt him too much, but he did lose some time there.
Yeah, so Struthers is making up a little bit of time just based on that. But like we said, we won't know who's ahead until Struthers fights Bite or we get to the very end of the Hornet stage.
I would honestly say they're about even now. Actually, no. I would say Cassio might still have...
I'd say Cassio might still have a little bit of a lead. That's
not very
estimate, but it's inconclusive. So I'm not gonna say really who is.
The reason I say that is because they were about. Let's see. Struthers killed Vile when Cassio killed Vile's mech. It seems like around that area. And the Bite fight is much shorter than the Vile fight.
So they're pretty sync up.
Actually, yeah, you're right. They would be the same. They're all 2 damage shots.
It all depends on Bite fight for Starving, depending on the strat he's using. If he has 2 post strat. Nice jump again over the chicken guy there. I don't know his name.
They're just chickens.
Managing to jump over him without taking a hit and reach the platform higher up to him is a really nice jump to do.
Alright, so Struthers is coming into the Crawfish fight coming up. He's going to hit him with the Tri-Thunder, which is his true weakness weapon. And like Toxic Seahorse, his iframes will actually be non-existent for 2 seconds after he gets hit with the Tri-Thunder. So once the Triad drops off of the frame of the screen, he's going to swap to Buster and start mashing as much as he can. And then he's going to swap back to Tri-Thunder and repeat the process. And as you see, he has to do it a 3rd time. He didn't quite get a 2-cycle out of it. We might see Cassio get the 2-cycle, which will save him a few seconds.
Still getting a 2-cycle.
But Struthers actually still had a pretty damn clean kill there.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay, Cassio got it.
Managed to save that.
Yeah, Cassio got hit a little bit, but that didn't stop him from getting it. So Starvin's heading into Beetle. The bit bite Rupin is very early in this stage, so we're going to see here in just a second if Cassio is going to take a definitive lead.
Also to mention, the blade they are using is really OP.
So as soon as Cassio gets past the bit bite room, if Starvin is still there, then Cassio has the lead. And looks like Cassio still has the lead because Starvin has to go through this text box before he gets movement. But to Starvin's credit, he does get the no-pause bite fight, so that will put him just a few seconds behind, maybe about
5 seconds behind. 23:51 door on Cassio, 23:56 for Struthers. So definitely not. This has been a very close race the entire time, it seems like.
So, as you see, we got Starvin using Tri-Thunder, or we got Cassio using the Spinning Blade. As you see, both weapons are very good in this stage. They both have their perks.
I have never seen that strata, and it's
Struthers takes the lead back on the climb. Cassio had some trouble there with the Spinning Blade.
They are maybe 1 second apart at this point.
Yeah, climbing is a big issue, and this is what's going to separate our runners. It's this climbing. You see it everywhere in this game because most of the stages are vertically oriented.
More than any other Mega Man X game, even throughout the PlayStation games, this game is probably the most vertical out of all of them. I'm not sure why they decided to go with that direction in designing the stages, but hey.
So just like the Tunnel Runoff fight, you hit Beetle with the Buster Charge shot and then 10 hits with his True Weakness weapon. Very trivial fight. All Beetle does is jump forward when he gets hit with a Ray Splasher, and after he lands, he gets hit with it again. So we're not going to see much of variance here. Struthers does have about a 2-second lead at this point. Now, the first big difference we could see in the Hornet stage is will we see the low percent climb from either player, or will we see just the safe up dash?
If I remember, back when Struthers was consistently running this game, he actually was very consistent with the low percent kicks, but he also hasn't played X3 in a very long time, which you wouldn't even be able to tell because, I mean, it's like he's not even actually bothered going for it.
I think Cassio got one of them, but he's having trouble getting over the second one.
Bonked on that ledge there a little bit.
Yeah, the low person strat is faster, but if you're able to do the up dash strategy consistently, it may be a wise choice to use in a tournament race. As we could see on Starving side, who got both of the jump pretty cleanly.
So 6 hits with the acid burst. You have to space these shots out a little bit further. Ooh, Castillo hits the shuriken with a small acid. That doesn't deal the same damage as the full acid shot, so he has to hit him an additional time. That allows Struthers to open up a lead just a little bit.
There's a lot of different strats to go to that hallway right before that gate. Most of them are to reduce the lag, basically, because you can go through by using full charge shot, using Lehman, green charge, but if you use the full charge, you're gonna generate a lot of lag.
That's probably one of the laggiest sections in the game if you don't go out of your way to reduce it.
Except if you think about Vile stage.
Oh, well.
So, Hornet is being fought here with a spinning blade and not his true weakness, and that's solely because by firing the gravity well, it does 4 damage, but the hits are very, very slow. Plus, you have to wait for the gravity well to actually come back to X before you can fire it again. Whereas for the spinning blades, as long as both of the blades get hit and they get destroyed, you can fire the blade again fairly quickly. And even though the spinning blade deals 2 damage, it doesn't trigger the extensively long iframe periods that the gravity well does. And as you see on Cassio's side, those Hornets that were surrounding the big Hornet were protecting him from those spinning blade shots, so he wasn't able to get all the hits on him. As you see, he almost ran out of spinning blade there.
Starving, though, having a really clean fight, I would say. Missing some shot there, but it went pretty smoothly.
I'm not sure what pace our racer's on. I would say probably around 41, 42 pace.
I would say 42, but
a low mid 42 at the moment. It could be a high 41 if they get a really good Doppler too.
So since spikes in this game were not deadly enough, the programmers choose to make them move toward player. Not that much of a big deal for speedrunner that get used to that section, but for casual playthrough, if you miss one jump, it gets pretty tricky to deal with.
Ooh, Cassio! Whoa!
Yeah, this movie.
He was okay, but that looked scary because
those walls are always scary.
He dropped that jump on like the last section of the enclosing wall.
Yeah, that section is pretty tricky because we're used to try to do 7-pixel wall kick from the wall most of the time in the game, but in that section you really have to hug the wall, if I can call it that way, to be able to wall kick from them. Kind of mess your timing up when you're used to do far from the wall kick.
So Struthers is already at the boss door. He cannot take a hit from the God Car Machine's sword or the body, or he will die. Cassio, on the other hand, looks like he may have the health, or he may be
I think he doesn't. He
definitely doesn't now.
He took an extra hit at some point because he's at the same HP.
Struthers looks like he has less.
Ooh, Struthers almost died.
Nice dodge.
Ooh. That first one, oh boy. You just gotta be careful. You don't want to die when you've almost got him dead. Okay. Killed him with the sword in his hand. That's a good explosion animation sequence right there. Cassio needs to be very careful. When God Car Machine breaks out the sword, he will only shoot up to 4 swords, and then he'll put the sword away. And Cassio got the no hands kill, where the hands are just despawned when God Car Machine dies. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good one too.
I wonder if that actually might reduce a little bit of lag in the explosion.
I'm not really sure. I think at that point it just loads a sprite and the explosion sequence just happens. I really don't know if that would make a difference.
But for some reason, God Car's explosion seems like it's a little shorter than the rest of the.
Well, when the explosion ends, just like the Tiger mini boss, if you have your volume turned way up, you can hear the explosion like cut out, and then the fanfare plays. Cassio is having major difficulty. He's trying the Buster Strat, and finally he gets it. But now he has to not only get to switching 0, but when X comes back to this stage, he comes back with the same HP that he had when he swapped out 0. So he's going to have to get some health before he attempts the elevator skip.
I would assume he would farm for health before the elevator, but he does have this sub-tank there.
Yeah, I believe he would save that for later, though.
Yeah. Why use the sub-tank when you can just get health with the ice? And you don't have to pause to do that either. So Struthers gets the saber successfully. So as you see, it replaces the highest level charge. Wow, and he got the invisible saber.
Already had a ghost saber there. Which I'm still not 100% sure how that happens. I don't quite remember.
Oh no, Struthers has to reattempt the elevator climb.
Ooh, he almost went right into those spikes. That was also a very close saber there on the helmet.
If you do a neon jump, well done though. If you do a neon jump when you're closer than 7 pixels away from the wall.
Got sniped.
What happened there? The helmet that he bypassed before he got to the snail fired a missile, but the missile was still on screen, and when Cassio turned back around to try to get that health, like he wanted to avoid getting hit from the walk blaster, but when he turned around, the missile was right behind him and he got hit. That's unfortunate. That's gonna put Struthers in quite a bit in the lead now. But it's still not over, but at this point...
Using the knife,
that actually
taking damage from that snail right there before killing it, it's... I don't even know how to do that, but I know it's faster to do so.
It allows you to get an extra little kick in there on the wall and get a little bit more distance. Never actually seen it done like that.
So as you see, Cassio shoots the Buster Charge shot into that little projectile that the Volt Kragel threw. And that's because you can't throw the saber until your charge shot has left the screen. The game will not allow you to throw the saber if you have any charge shots lingering. So Struthers is working his way through the refights, and with the saber, it just takes two saber swipes to kill most of the bosses. There is a quick kill with the saber integrated with the seahorse and crawfish quick kills. But the beauty is you don't need full health to use the saber. It's just like a standard buster weapon, basically.
And it is so much better than the Hadouken or the Shoryuken. No full health, no complete items. You don't have to do anything. The only thing, you could only get the saber in the game. And it's extremely broken. It pretty much trivializes everything. Especially in any percent where you can really just hammer the things out really fast.
Starving having a really good fight against Catfish, which can be pretty trolly. You want to make sure you're not shooting anything at him except the saber, because if he goes under 16 HP, which is the amount of damage the saber does, he will go into a desperate move, and you're not going to be able to touch him, even with the saber hit when he turns blue.
I believe every desperation phase, it loses around 10 seconds of him just sitting in the middle, spraying sparks all over the place.
It's about 5 seconds, actually. It's not as long as you think.
It just feels like it lasts forever because that's such an awful mistake.
Cassio gets the quick kill on Seahorse.
Starving coming up for it.
I'm not sure if Starvin does the Seahorse quick kill. I would assume he does.
Yeah, he's already got the ice set up for it.
Oh, well done.
Wow.
Damageless, nonetheless.
So yeah, the saber constantly hits the boss for 16 damage per frame, so that's why they die instantly when you hit them with the saber. You'll see that for Crawfish as well. Cassio making sure that he doesn't hit the Catfish with anything other than 2 sabers, because his desperation phase triggers at 15 HP or less. So if you hit him with anything more than a saber and you don't do the second saber after the first one, he will go into his desperation mode. The boss refight order is pretty much runner preference. Just do Hornet first because it's the closest to the door. But at that point, you could do the order. You could do the bosses in any order you want, because you always teleport into the on top of the refill capsule there. I apologize for my squeaky chair. I have to get some WD-40.
You're trying to take my thing, are you? I am the one with the squeaky chair here. It can be only me.
Oh, Cassio gets an angry beetle. Will we get the double rainbow? No, we won't.
On him too.
Yeah, that's a bad bonk.
One of the most damaging one from the refight, if I recall.
If you don't know how to do the beetle refight, he's actually probably he is one of the most dangerous refights in general. Just because he can do a lot of damage to even compared to most other bosses in here.
Okay, Cassio had to take a pit stop to get some health. Starvin is done with the refight, so he's going in to fight Doppler.
Just the one bunk laser section is not really. It's really a good thing.
Yeah, that's
Tekken one hit isn't bad. He can actually go for the Doppler quick kill if he elects to, but we may not see that from either player. But we'll have to wait and see. Cassio is, I think, finishing up his final refight here with Tiger.
Oh!
He fired
He went for it.
Yeah, he went for it, but he had plenty of health, so he wasn't in danger.
It's a risky fight if you have low HP, but if you have high enough that you can take the bonk and still survive, you can just keep charging up and do as Starving did, and you released it. Doppler is going to try to refill HP by taking your shot in, and you can still kill him using the saber when he's doing so.
Okay, Starvin is on high 41 pace, so if he doesn't take a death here, he's going to be not too far from his PB. So for the first phase of Sigma here, the fireballs always come out in the same pattern, and there's actually a little bit of a pause before he starts his first pattern, so you can actually get a free saber hit right here. And then just dodge your way, or dodge the fireballs, and then you can get a free shot on Sigma after the fireball volley.
Well done. It's not the fastest, but it's still a really quick kill on the first phase.
And now Starvin actually has 2 hits that he can give on Sigma for the final form. So it looks like Starvin will have this pretty much in the bag unless a catastrophe happens.
Oh, he actually hit him.
Okay. Oh, he missed the saber, but I think he's okay. Yes, he's okay.
Oh my!
That was almost tragic, but he didn't panic.
Well, it's not quite over yet. You never know what can happen with the true final boss of the game, the lava.
The floor is lava, finally coming up to hunt us.
And if that happened, that would pretty much be a guaranteed win for Cassio. But
so yeah, Starvin just has to not play around with this climb now. I know what he's doing, and he better watch it. Okay, time's coming up for Starvin. I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be a 41-57 for Starvin.
that is, considering he says he hasn't played this game in several months other than one run yesterday, that's a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's not too far from his PB, actually. Cassio finishing up here. Cassio does have the sub-tank, but he won't need it.
That was a really nice kill.
So congratulations to Struthers on picking up his first win.
Struthers is only 22 seconds.
Cassio is shooting the acid for Brazil. The irony is that X's colors for the acid matches the colors of Brazil. So, doing it for his home country. And Cassio finishes with a 43.04.
Well done. A pretty nice race. That was pretty synced up until
that
pretty much the end.
The Doppler 2, that really set it apart. But it was a very close race. But Struthers ends up winning in the end. So, are there any more races tonight, or is this the only one?
I think that was the only one. There's one coming up tomorrow. I don't remember the time. I think it was 8 p.m.
7 p.m. Eastern.
7? Alright.
That is Madhu versus 8-Bit is Great.
Oh boy.
That's also the first race of the group, if I recall.
Believe so.
Let me check that pretty quick. Yeah, it is. So that will be the first race of Group D coming up.
And thankfully, the The deadline for the group phase here actually has been extended past SGDQ. So I would assume there's probably...
Madu is saying 8-Bit has already played against somebody in that group.
Oh, I missed that then?
I don't
but according to him, no one recorded the score.
Oh,
maybe we're doing a practice race. I don't know, because on the bracket the group there's no fight recorded, and I don't see their match in the schedule. So
I will try and ask 8-Bit about that next time I see him online.
Alrighty, well, I'm signing off. I'll let you two close it out. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Alright, thanks, Justin. So that was the first race for Group F. There will be a lot more coming up. I think we're gonna have a few more races before SGDQ, and then Fizzle will be back and be able to restream the rest of it.
I would assume there's going to be a whole lot of races happening right before SGDQ. At least I would hope, because there's not going to be... I would assume there would be no races happening in SGDQ, since Fizzle is actually going to be busy with that, I believe. He will not be able to restream any. They don't have to be restreamed, but it's always nice to just, you know...
be able to watch them. It does seem that Baldo, is that it? And it did actually had the race, and it's gonna be added up to the tournament channel eventually.
Is their race recorded onto SRL? You probably get the times off there.
Yeah, it seems so. That would be the second race then of that group. But there's still a lot of races coming up. There's only 2 groups out of the 7 in the tournament that are done. So we're going to be able to see a lot more races coming up.
We have plenty of races coming from Group C, D, and F. Let's see. Only 1 match from D and F so far. And I don't know, 1 match from all 3 of those groups so far, and that's it. And then Group E also has plenty left to go.
And even when the group are done, they are still gonna have the bracket coming up. So
the elimination phase will be coming up after that.
Still, that tournament is pretty young, if I can call it that way. So a lot more races coming up. Make sure you stay tuned for Speed Gaming, for the runner as well. They did a pretty well job on that race. It was pretty tight until the end. Need to remember that the final stage in X3 are pretty much the final boss.
Doppler 2 is pretty much like everything kills you. Just everything wants to kill you. It wants to brick your cartridge even. Not really, but... that's the stage where you'll come to realize that this game has become sentient at some point and it actively hates the people trying to run it.
Oh, for that I sure remember when I was learning the game not that long ago. Beating the 8th stage, the Maverick ones it's not that easy. So when you reach the final stage for the first time as a speedrunner, oh my. Everything is pretty precise, and
it's fairly hard in the Mavericks, like you said, and then like it ramps up so insanely when you get into Doppler 1, and it just keeps going more and more and more, and it just never stops. You get a bit of a break with the refight since you have the Saber there, and I mean, that's pretty much like you can just go on autopilot there outside of the quick kills. But then you have the Sigma fights where you really do need to concentrate, since one little misplaced input, just like in Doppler 2, and you're dead. There'll be no way for you to beat it.
Yeah, we didn't mention that in the Doppler 2. In the final stage, the red guys that shoot lasers at you and also bomb if you're too slow to pass him by. It does 8 damage on contact, so you want to try to make sure to avoid that. And at any percent, if you're not grabbing any extra safety art, you're taking 8 damage over 16 HP.
Yeah, you're going to lose half your health immediately.
And if you lose the second half, well, GG.
You're dead.
There's no avoiding it. There's some strategy that you can just dash jump over them, but the hitbox is pretty big. So there's a lot of hard strategy coming up in the final stage. So that's really where the run starts.
Even the little lasers they fire out do 4 damage, and they have the bonus of having their hitboxes linger longer than their sprites. And they are faster than X, even at full speed. So you cannot outrun them.
So just take a short break and wait for them to pass out instead of trying to outrun them. There's no way you're gonna be able to do that. Even the tests cannot.
Although, strangely enough, in the arranged version of the game for PS1 and Saturn and all that, they're actually slower. Significantly slower.
Yeah, but isn't the game slower overall from the SNES version?
It depends on what category you're playing.
We're speaking about the 80% tournament right now.
As far as PS1 goes, it can be beaten in around 20 minutes, just solely due to being able to skip all of the stages right off the bat due to the glitch. If you highlight crawfish and press right and select the stage on the same frame, you can actually go straight into the Doppler stages.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually.
And yeah, it's the current record for that is 22:52 by Crack Attack, using a low percent route where he goes straight to Doppler right after the intro stage without beating any Mavericks.
Still doubt that will be allowed.
Yeah, that would not be allowed. This is strictly SNES only or emulator. I don't think anybody would be cool with you using anyone using the PS1 or XC version or whatever it is.
Yes. We are pretty friendly and all, and we're glad when someone is able to get a better time than us. But if you're using a cheap strategy to win over people in a fair race, pretty sure most of the people are not going to be happy about that.
Although I will say, if you use the XC version and somebody lets you do that, you are at a hugely massive disadvantage if they let you use that version and you promise not to use the glitch. The XC version, PS1 version, and Saturn versions of the game, their text actually scrolls at max around half the speed. And the XC version has the bonus of never coming out in Japan, so it's English text.
Yeah.
So you have slow text speed, English text, loading screens, and it's just a bad time all around.
So I think that concludes us as well the Speed Gaming channel for tonight. That was the last race for today. More coming up tomorrow. There's a Mystic Quest race coming up at 3 o'clock afternoon, and X3 race coming up at 9 p.m. And we also have a special case for Mega Man X2 Chase the Record, where we're gonna have we're gonna have 4 runners, including Tiki, Tokyo, Caleb, and Colonel Fatso, if I recall.
I believe Justin is actually going to be in there on it as well.
Oh, well, I thought it was only 4 runners, but that's my bad. Then it may be the case.
He might be. I'm not sure. He did actually ask Zam about it, if he could be in on it. And I mean, hey,
that's just more runner, more fun.
And so, I mean, he has a pretty low time in that already, so that'll be good.
And there's also a bunch of commentators coming up for that race. So we're on top of having people running a really nice game, we're gonna have people commentating as well. So it will be a pretty nice stream to watch.
X2 at that level of play is magical, to say the least.
Dazzling. There's no word for it at that point. So it's gonna be at 9 p.m. tomorrow. According to Speed Gaming schedule time, it could be a 4-hour stream. So if you have nothing else to do, even if you have something else, you may want to cancel that. Make sure you watch this. It's gonna be a really nice chase the record, because we have Tiki that beat Cat at times by 2 seconds, if I recall. And from the community Discord, I know that Tiki does keep getting better and better over time.
He was on 32 2x pace just yesterday, I believe.
Which is...
That is absurd.
15 seconds faster than
that
the
is
current.
absolutely an absurd pace.
So we may actually see that tomorrow, which will be...
That would be pretty nuts.
So make sure you keep that in mind when you wonder what you're gonna watch tomorrow. You want to keep that and watch this. If that happened, that would be the nicest thing.
I believe that Chase the Record actually... that should happen almost immediately after the race tomorrow. Well, no, it'd be about an hour after that race ends. So the next X3 race is tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
Chase the Record, you said, is at 9 p.m., which I would assume is also Eastern.
Yep, it is.
Plenty of Mega Man tomorrow.
So that will be it for tonight for X3. And yep, that's it. I don't have anything else to say.
Thanks for watching, everybody, and make sure to follow both of the runners. Go and do that right now.
Take care, everyone.